Om. 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 Om Brahmanandam Paramasukadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gagana Sadrisham Tattvamasyadilaksham Ekam Nityam Vimalam Achalam Sarvadhi Sakshibhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ ॐ समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्. Hello, everybody. So last time we saw from verse 12 onwards, chapter 7, Bhagavan said that the three gunas, Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas, they come from me, they originate from me, they are in me, I am not in them. So we saw in detail what Sattva, Rajas, Tamas was, representing knowledge, dynamism, and inertia. We cannot see Sattva, Rajas, Tamas directly, but we infer them. It's an inference from what we see in this manifested world. We see these three principles of knowledge, quietude, purity. Then there is dynamism, and then there is inertia. And so when we see the effects, we infer the cause. So the cause is Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. It has come. They're also the word guna also means rope. All three of them bind us, and they come from Bhagwan. But Bhagwan says, I am not in them, meaning they are dependent on me. I am not dependent on them. I explained to you in detail. The effect is always dependent on the cause, but the cause can remain without the effect. Electricity can remain on its own, but the appliances cannot function without the presence of electricity. So the Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas, these three gunas, they are all supported by him. They also represent waking, dream, and deep sleep states. So all the three states are supported by him. He's something different from the three states. He is neither the waker, nor the dreamer, nor the deep sleeper. And we need to recognize that I, being that supreme self, am neither the waker, nor the dreamer, nor the deep sleeper. This is why this is being told. And then he says that these three gunas, the entire world, sarvam idam jagat. Jagat here means people in the world, because jagat, inert jagat, cannot be deluded. Na? So when the word jagat is used, which actually literally means the world, it's the people in the world are mohitam. They are deluded. Mohitam, deluded by the three gunas. Na abhijanati mamebhyah parama avyayam. And because of this delusion, wrong thinking, they do not know me as the supreme imperishable self. So what happens is, I am deluded. I think I am the waker. I think I am the one, the dreamer and the deep sleeper. And this delusion comes because we have set up a relationship of likes and dislikes with the world. The three gunas, depending on if I'm predominantly sattvic, then I like knowledge. Like, it's sattva is better than rajas, then better than tamas. Majority of the people are in the middle category, rajasic category. What is happening is, my nature, say, is predominantly sattvic. Then I like to study, be quiet. I like that, right? And then what happens? See, liking is by itself not a problem because of my guna. Now I tend to go in that direction. But when I start putting down the other people, that becomes a problem. That is what the problem. Like, oh, I am so sattvic, I like this one. Oh God, she's running after here and there all the time doing things. That part should not be there. The liking will be there because of the I prefer maybe to stay alone. A person may prefer his solitude, but he must not say. That is where we fall. That is where the fall is. That when, see, I'm sattvic, okay, that's fine, that's good. But when I say that you are rajasic and you are, not as good as I am, that's where the problem comes. That's when I fall from sattva into rajas. Rajas is dynamism. I told you the person is, they cannot live without a to-do list. It's like, what do I do next? What do I do next? What do I do next? And then that life becomes just running after things. So that is dynamism. And inertia is laziness, procrastination. Can we do this tomorrow? Maybe later, later. There's a word called later. I'll do it later. I'll do it later. Push, push, push. And then these gunas create these likes and dislikes. As per my guna, I like that thing. So if I'm rajasic, then I will like a person who is rajasic, who's constantly extroverted, who's constantly wanting to go here, do this, do that, do that, do that. And the other people, then I kind of tend not to like. And that like and dislike is what is the delusion. And that delusion causes us not to recognize his presence, his Lord's presence as the substratum of all three. It is because of him that I am the waker. It is because of him that I become the dreamer. It is because of him that I become the deep sleeper. That part is not recognized. And then Bhagavan says, Daivi Hesha Gunamai. This is Daivi. This is divine. Why is it divine? It's mine. I am divine. So whatever is mine is also divine. And it is extremely difficult to cross over because she's very powerful. She is the power of the Lord. See, Maya is considered as the power of the Lord, strength of the Lord, right? So the strength is definitely more powerful than what we are. So how do I overcome it then? If it is that powerful. So Bhagavan says, by surrendering to me, because she is mine. So you surrender to me and I will help you cross over this delusion of Maya. And surrendering to him, I gave you two examples. Like one is where if you go to somebody's house and there's a dog, fierce dog barking at you, you need to call the owner and say, please ask your dog to keep quiet because I do need to enter your house. Or like the fish who cling to the feet of the fisherman, so then they don't get caught in the net. So if we cling to the feet of the Lord, oh Bhagwan, please save me from this delusion, then he will definitely save us. Okay, that is the Maya metam tarantite mameva ye prapadyante. Prapatti surrender. That is how we touch the top of the foot is called prapatti, not the sole, but the top. And that's what we either touch or we put our forehead. Therefore, masters, we put that is what is meant by surrender. So when you surrender to me, surrender your ego. When you stop thinking that I can do it, you should stop thinking like that. Like, oh, I can do it. What do I need anybody else for? No, you say, yes, oh Lord, with your help, I will be able to do it. When you bring that part into your life, then the ego will be subdued. And then that way you will be able to cross over this Maya. Maya is not a problem for Ishvara because Maya is under his control, but it becomes a great problem for Jiva because Jiva is under the control of Maya, and that's why in case of Jiva it is known as avidya. Both these in our chart, the that's avidya, Maya, deep sleep, ignorance. All that is that we. Now, if that we, which is the vasanas, are under our control, and the way the vasanas come under our control is by controlling the mind, the thoughts in the mind, then we are okay. But when they are not in control, when they are running amok, then there is a problem. Now, there is Gurudev has given this question, then why all those who meditate upon thee are not experiencing thy glory? Maybe they are thinking of you, but there are 8 kinds of people. Now Bhagwan is going to tell in 15 and 16, 4 of them who do not recognize his presence, and 4 of them who do recognize his presence. And what is the difference? So we read the verse 15, and so last time we read it, and I just gave you a little explanation. Namam dushkrutino mudhaha. So dushkrutino, do is bad, su is good. So we have sukha and we have dukkha, right? We have duryodhan, dushasan, so that do is bad. So kriti is action. So there are 4 kinds of people who do bad actions. Bad action means what? Papa. They're papatmas, they're called. They do papa. What is papa? Literally translated, it is demerit. Papa is any action which leaves an impression in your mind. Okay, so here, with reference to just this verse, papa means any action that leaves some sort of guilt in your mind. Oh, why did I say that? Oh, why did I do that? That sort of impression of guilt is only being referred to here. When you go into subtler Vedanta, higher, this papa, any action that leaves an impression of pride or vanity also is then papa, because that also is causing a groove in your vasana, and it is causing rebirth. That is at a higher level. Those are not the people that Bhagwan is referring to here. I'm just telling you. Here, dushkritano means those who are doing actions and then they're feeling guilty about it. So any action, because that guilt is what is increasing the groove. The vasanas, Gurudev has described I think the young people don't know, but I'm sure some of you know, there used to be records, right? HMV records, and the needle, you put the needle on it and the needle will go in the groove and then the music will be played, right? Now, I don't think anybody even knows nowadays, but anyway, Prem Sai, if you don't, then yeah, there used to be these big records, black ones, and then you had a needle, and
They're
then
coming back into popularity, JG.
are they?
Young
Oh
people,
God,
young
okay,
people
then
buy
Gurudev.
records now and record players.
Okay, so Gurudev used to give the example of those because there were no CDs and there were no nothing like that. So what he used to say is, see, that needle is going in the groove and creating the music. Now, when you keep doing the same things, like suppose if you are playing one song only day in and day out, day out, day out, that groove will get deeper and deeper and deeper. Okay, maybe not, but that would be because the same thing you're going round and round. So now when you do things like that, what you're doing is you're deepening the groove of your vasanas, he would say. And then that vasanas are becoming stronger, because suppose if I have a vasana, addiction, if I have smoking or drinking tea, forget smoking. Okay, so now I will go on drinking tea. I am increasing that groove in that vasana. This is the example Gurudev used to give. Okay, so this dushkrutino are those people who do things and then there is guilt. That impression is deepening each time they do. First you feel guilty, then you feel bad about doing it, then you get used to it, and then you're like, oh, it's okay, and then you think that is only right. So this is dushkrut, at a higher level. When we do good actions and it leaves a vanity within, see, I did that also is then bad, but that is not what is meant here. In Valmiki Ramayan, Rishi Valmiki gives the definition of papa as, he says, we are actually we are Satchit Ananda. But now what we have done is we have stolen the dharma of the body, mind, and intellect. So we are papatmas. We stole. It is not our nature. The nature of the body is not our nature. But I keep, I'm getting old. I feel sad. When I identify with the body, mind, and intellect, that itself is, this is higher level. So that identification itself becomes a papa. Okay. Now, these papatmas, Bhagwan is saying there are 4 kinds. And namam prapadyante. That is how it goes. Huh? Namam prapadyante. So prapadi, I told you, they do not surrender to me. And among those who do not surrender, they are doing bad actions, means not bad action, which is leaving impressions on their mind, are of four kinds. There is the mudaha, naradhamaha, Mayaya aparatanyanaha and asuram bhavmashita. So those of asuri prakriti. Mudha, literally translated, is foolish. Literal translation of mudha is foolish. Gurudev gave a beautiful explanation of mudha. He said, mudha is one who comes under the sway of his moods. So I'm not in the mood to attend class today, so I will just sleep in. Even though it is your duty to study, like, well, tomorrow exam, but I don't feel like, I feel like watching a movie. That is when you're coming under the sway of the moods. And Gurudev used to say that is a mudaha, foolish. But anyway, this foolish mudaha means one who has incorrect understanding. Okay, whose understanding originally is not correct. Okay, that's one thing, that your understanding is not correct. Now you go on arguing for that argument, for that incorrect understanding. That is what is a mudaha. So the mudaha is one who thinks he is the body, who thinks he is the mind, thinks he is the intellect, and now he will go on arguing on that basis. So he is arguing from the platform of the ego, because the ego is identification. So first of all, that understanding is wrong, that he is body, mind, intellect. Now he will go on arguing on top of that. So that person is a mudaha. This is what mudaha means here. Nara adhama, I told you, nara adhama, I told you the lowest. Adhama is the lowest, low. Adhama, madhyama, and uttama. These are the 3. Good, better, best. Not, but adhama is not even good. It's bad only. Adhama, madhyama, medium, and uttama is the best. Okay. So adhama is the adhama naraha. Now, what is low naraha? See, in this creation, we have got 4 types of species, entities, you can call. One is the mineral world. Mineral world is the inert world. Then we have the plant kingdom. Then we have the animal kingdom. And the final we have is the human beings. Okay. So mineral is inert, so there's nothing. Plant, we see very little consciousness. You go, the plants cannot move from one place to another place. It's evolution. And you pluck a fruit, the plant doesn't say it's my fruit, why are you plucking it? Plant doesn't say things like that. Okay. Or if you cut a branch and plant it somewhere, oh, my branch, you hurt me. Plant cannot say those kinds of things. Now we come to the animal world. Now, animals are more evolved than the plants, so they move about. They eat. Plants also eat, but they only eat. Another thing about plants is they eat from the bottom and they grow on top. They eat from the roots and they grow upwards. That is the plant, okay? But the animals do 4 things which are common to us also. One is ahara. Ahara means food. They eat. Nidra, they sleep. Maithuna, which is procreation. And 4th is bhaya. They also have fear. So we have seen the mouse will be fearful of the cat will be fearful of the dog will be fearful of the wolf will be fearful of the lion. So they have this hierarchy of fear also. They sleep also, they eat also, and then they procreate. Okay. The animal is called Tiryanga in Sanskrit, horizontal. So the head, heart, stomach, and genitals are in one level, and which means that all 4 are equally important to them. Okay. So they don't have the discriminating faculty. That's why you said that animals don't have the subtle intellect to think. And I've told you this many times before. Like a cow will not think I'm getting anemic and I should be eating red meat, or I should be taking iron pills. The cow is not going to say things like that. So that is how an animal is. Now we come to the humans. How is the human being? Vertical. He's eating from up and he's growing vertically, which means the brain is up here, the heart is next, stomach is next, and the genitals are the last. So this is how a human being should function. Gurudev classifies humans into 3 categories. Animal, man. Whoa. Okay. What happened there? My screen just went blank. Anyway, I don't know. I have no idea. I didn't touch anything. Anyway, so there is animal man, man, and then God man. Now, the animal man is what is being referred to here as Nara Adhama. Now, why is he an animal man? Because whatever the animals do, if he only does those things, 4 things: eat, sleep, procreate, and then have fear. Every human being has fear. All of us are fearful of something or the other. We have fear. Most is fearful of death, fearful of something happening to our family members, something happening in the world, something happening here, there, everything. What will happen if earthquake happens? This, all these fears. So if we only have these 4 things, then we fall under the category of Nara Adhama. That is the definition. That is the meaning of this Nara Adama. Means if we are only means we are not using our head over our heart and stomach and genitals. Head must come first. Thinking must come first. We saw Viveka this morning, right? This discrimination is very important. That is the faculty which we have, which distinguishes us from animals. Is the faculty. I know that, I am low in something. Okay, I can make it up. I am, I'm too tamasic or rajasic. That discrimination I should have. I should make my mind more sattvic. Where I should argue, where I should keep quiet. It is more to know how to and when to keep quiet than what to talk. When I should talk, when I should not, all this discrimination when we have, then we are that madhyama, we come to the madhyam adhikari, that madhyam and when that madhyam adhikari or madhyam person or man discriminates, starts discrimination between permanent and impermanent, he has the capacity, he has the capability of going to that God man. That is a realized person. So if you are at animal man, your chances of reaching Uttama Purusha is less. They're less. So this is what he says. These people who are only doing these 4 things, which the animals are also doing, they are this Nara Adhama, and this could be educated people also. Don't think that they could be very handsome, they could be very beautiful, they could be rich, they could be educated. But that's all they think: eat, drink, and be merry. You only live once. Enjoy life. So if that is only their purpose, if they do not understand what is the purpose of human birth, then they will not surrender, because I did and I got. So what has God got to do with it? That is what and then they do not surrender to God. So this is the second type of people that Bhagavan is talking about. Then Mayaya aparata jnanaha. So Mayaya means coming under the sway of Maya. And what is Maya? Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. So when the person comes under the sway of these 3 gunas, and then his knowledge is deprived. Gurudev is translated as deprived of knowledge. So what happens is not sometimes he may have the knowledge, but when you come under that extreme sway of likes and dislikes, because we saw how does a person, Bhagwan said this Maya deludes human beings. That's what he said previously. And we said, how is that delusion coming? It's because of the person is coming under the sway of likes and dislikes. So when he comes under the extreme sway of likes and dislikes, even though he has the knowledge, it doesn't come out. And Duryodhan is a very good example. Duryodhan, there is a dialogue in Mahabharata. Duryodhan, I know what dharma is, but I cannot do it. I know what adharma is, but I cannot refrain from it. And that is what is meant by Mayaya aparatanyanaha. Not that the knowledge is not, in extreme anger. We have seen this in chapter 3 also, where dhyato vishan punsa, when there is a lot of thinking about a particular object, attachment increases. That attachment gives rise to desire. The stronger the desire, the intensity of the desire, when it doesn't get fulfilled, it'll be equally intense will be the anger. And in that anger, the person gets deluded and forgets what he even knew to be correct. So deprived of knowledge doesn't mean that he didn't have the knowledge to begin with. Maybe he didn't have, then he's a Naradhama. If the knowledge is not, then he's falling under Naradhama. But when Bhagwan is saying Mayaya aparatanyanaha, means he is coming under the sway of these gunas, and because of which his knowledge is now getting diluted, extreme likes and dislikes. So when what happens is when something I want very, very much and it doesn't happen, then I get very, very angry. And in that anger, I forget what is right and what is wrong, and I will most probably tend to do what is wrong. And the mind is very powerful in telling us, yeah, do it. What? He did this to you, you do it. So this is what Maya aparatanyana is, okay? And then asuram bhavam ashritaha. So those who succumb, ashritam support, take refuge in asuri bhava. Asura, I told you. Asusuramante iti asura. So again, asura doesn't mean rakshasas. Ravana is the example of this thing. Ravana, see, so much identification with the body. Ultimately, he went and did the greatest wrong. He went after somebody else's wife. That is Asuri. Okay. When, in spite of being told, his own wife told him, Mandodari told him that is wrong, what you're doing is wrong. Bibhishan told him what is here, but he won't listen. He didn't listen. So this is what Asuram is. Those who are totally deluded because of identification with the body. That is what Asura means. Asura Prakriti. Okay. So this is what Bhagwan is saying. These Mudaha, they're also known as Pamara sometimes in technical language, Pamara, but they are. So these are these four kinds of people who are Papatmas. They're known as Papatmas. Papa Atma means Atma here is not Atma pure self, the Jiva. The Jiva is doing things, creating more and more impressions, guilt impressions in his mind, because of which he is now going to be and get entangled in the cycle of birth and death. As spiritual seekers, when we go deeper into Vedanta, we must understand that even if the good leaves an impression on our mind, we are getting into rebirth, but at least do good instead of bad, because you know why? Because at least you'll get a good birth, a higher birth. So birth is sure, at least let's try and let it be a good birth in a more spiritually evolved family. Let's get a human birth. So because of all those things, we should be doing good actions, even if it's late. And when we get into our studies, we should assign that credit to God. And that's where I come in, where I always tell you, thank you, Lord, you gave me this thought and I could help this person, but it was because of your help that I could help this person and I could do good. So if you bring God in everything, you are then not creating, the groove is not becoming deeper and deeper in that record of ours, because it's a record that is being kept in subtle form. Okay. So Mudaha, Naradhama, the Naranam Adhama, among the humans, Adhama, lowest kind, animal man, who lives only like an animal, one who is deluded because of the three gunas, coming under the sway of likes and dislikes and behaving as per that. And then the one who is extremely identified with the body. And that's why whatever he says and does is from the platform of the ego and not from the platform of the pure consciousness. So these are the four kinds. Is there any hope? Are there any other kinds of people, Bhagwan? Yes. Don't worry. If there is Dushkrutino, there are Sukrutino also. All right. Now tell us about this. Now, Chaturvidha bhajante mam jana sukrutinurjuna arto jidnya surartharthi jnani cha bharatarshabha. Four kinds of virtuous men worship me, O Arjuna: the dissatisfied, the seeker of systematized knowledge, the seeker of wealth, and the wise, O best among the Bharatas. So the Arjun first line, last name, and the last word in the second line, both are referring to Arjuna, the disciple. Arjuna, the one who is straightforward, and Bharatarshaba, the best among the Bharata dynasty. That is what the meanings are of those two words. Chaturveda, fourfold people. Now, see. Okay, so let's understand this verse first, then we'll go. Bhajante, he says. There he says namam prapadyante. Okay, here he says four types of people. Bhajante word, bhajan, bhaja, the dhatu is bhaja. Bhaja means serve, to inquire, and to worship. This bhaja dhatu has three meanings. When we study Bhaja Govindam in our fundamentals class, we will study more about this because bhaja is there. So anyway, here bhaja. So serve at the physical level, at the level of the body, worship at the level of the mind, and inquire at the level of the intellect. So these body, mind, and intellect are understood to be tools, instruments to do these things only. So serving the Lord means serving his creation, because the creation is not different from the creator, because Bhagwan himself, he doesn't need any service from us. Okay, so don't directly service of Guru, service of the people. That's why we, in our pledge, we have service of the people is the service of the Lord of Lords. That is coming from this bhaj word. Okay, so then you worship. So you do puja. So worship, you can do physical puja also, lighting a lamp or thinking of him. All that is coming at the level of the mind. Then you inquire into him. Who is this Bhagwan that I'm worshipping? Because when I worship, then there's Bhagwan over there and me over here. At the intellectual level, you start inquiring, is he really different from me? Is he separate from me? So that is the load of this word bhajante. And these are these four kinds. Mam janaha sukrutino. I told you su means good and du means bad. So these people are doing good actions. Okay, they are not papatmas, they are actually punyatmas. They are doing good actions, and these people, there are four types in these people who are who believe in me, who have faith in me, who pray to me. So what happens is, when they are in distress, and the first word is artha. Artha is distress. Example of artha is, one is Draupadi, most common we know. So Draupadi was in distress, and then she called to Bhagwan, and Bhagwan came. Very recently, I read a story in Marathi. It's actually very interesting. These are little Vedantic stories. You know, a little column comes in the Marathi newspaper, and my mom, what she did was, she would, and I only came to know after she had passed, she would cut that little cutting and she stuck it on one each page. And when she passed, and when I was going through all her things, then this is one of the things that I brought, and I had actually read it before the whole thing. There are a few pages where she's stuck, and every one is there's a moral to every story. And just 2 3 days ago, I was reading, and there was this story of Draupadi, and I thought, oh my God, like every time these things are happening to me, I'm telling you, it just, I think it's Guru's grace that when I was studying this verse, and then now that thing I'm reading there. So it's a very beautiful story, which I had never heard before. So Draupadi, it seems, is met Krishna after the whatever war or whatever Mahabharata, and she asked Bhagwan, she said, how come you took so long to come to me? That's the question she asked. So Bhagwan said, it means, she said, why didn't you come when I was being pulled by my hair? Why did you come that time? But first I was being pulled by my hair. You didn't come, you were delayed, you were late. Why were you late? So Bhagwan said that when you were being pulled by your hair, I had just finished lunch. And I was just about to eat pan, and I realized that you're being pulled by the hair. And he said, I put the pan down because I thought you would call me. You did. You did. You went to your husband's. Then you went to, the king, Dhritarashtra. Then you went to Bhishmacharya. Then you went to Kripacharya. Then you went to Dronacharya. And he said, I put my pan down. I was waiting. And when did you call me? You called me at the end. And then who delayed? Who delayed? He said. See, we do the same thing. It was so touching. So we do the same thing. You say, I can do it. I can do it. I will do it. I will try it. Why not first only surrender? That's why Bhagwan said, tell me who delayed, you or me? She didn't think, she didn't call Bhagwan. Bhagwan didn't come till she gave up her two hands, right? He didn't come. So that is a lesson for us, that we should always, right in the beginning, you bring Bhagwan. Okay, Bhagwan, now you tell me what to do. And the thought will come to you and you will do, but then you will have assigned it to Bhagwan and he'll be there with you. Okay. The other example of Artha is this Gajendra Moksha. In the Bhagavatam, there's a story. There was an elephant called Gajendra. And he was swimming he was taking a bath in the river. And this huge crocodile came and caught hold of his leg. So Gajendra screamed, Vishnu, hurry, hurry, please come and save me, please come and save me. So it said that Vishnu Bhagwan got on his vehicle, Garud Bhagwan, and Garud just flew absolutely fast, and he came and he saved him from the crocodile. So that is Artha. He was in distress. In that also, they said, oh, Bhagwan killed the crocodile. But what you have to understand is Bhagwan actually gave moksha. Whoever Bhagwan has killed, in anywhere, when you say, Krishna killed Putana, Krishna killed Kamsa, Ravana was killed by Rama, wherever you listen or hear or read that Bhagwan killed so and so, remember that Bhagwan gave all of them moksha. They were liberated. At the last minute, they come to know their oneness between who is killing them and they're being killed. So they come to know the oneness. And so moksha is given. So it is not a sad thing that Bhagwan killed. They were all given moksha. So they said crocodile was given moksha before Gajendra even, because before the devotee, that crocodile was released. Released means liberated. Okay, so that is Artha. Another example of Artha is the 16,000 princesses that Narakasura had captured. So they prayed to Bhagwan Shri Krishna, right? So he went and he saved all of them. So that is what Artha is. Jidnyasu, systemized knowledge. Example is Nachiketas. Nachiketas is one example where he was genuinely wanting to know the knowledge, what happens after death. And that's why he goes to Lord Yama and he asks for that. Or the other example is King Janaka. So in the court of King Janaka, see, Janaka is that dynasty, all the kings were called Janaka. Okay, all the kings. So when we have Ashtavakra, so in one of those, we don't know whether, and Janaka is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. The name is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. And the reason he gets a mention is because he was a householder and yet he realized through Grahastha, the Grahastha ashram that he was in, so which gives us hope. We can also realize through this ashram. Any ashram you can realize, Brahmachari, Grahastha, Vanaprastha or Sannyas, of course. So that's why he gets a mention. And we don't know whether the one who is mentioned was Sitaji's father or not. Same way here, in the court of King Janaka, one of the kings of that dynasty, Ashtavakra was the priest. And then the wise man, rather not priest, but the Brahmin. And Janaka asks him for knowledge. And that's what the whole treatise is, Ashtavakra Gita. It's called Ashtavakra because he was bent in eight places in his body was bent. So that's why it's called Ashtavakra. And then he gives the knowledge. And that is the definition of this Jidnyasu, one who is genuinely interested in knowing about the Lord. They then, of course, they also pray to him, oh Lord, give me that. That's why the bhajante comes. Either you serve and then you worship the Lord and then you start thinking, who is this Lord that I'm worshiping? So that is what Jidnyasu is. Artharthi, artha means wealth, material wealth. So the person who wants material wealth, he also prays to Bhagwan. Okay. Now in this Artharthi, at least the idea is that at least he's praying to God. He's not, doing wrong things. See, one who wants material wealth, he's okay, I'll go rob a bank, I'll cheat somebody. That's what they're doing. They're scamming senior citizens now, left, right, and center, right? Like all the phone calls that we get and the emails and the, oh my Lord, like it's coming on email also now. We owe you this money, now call us. All those kinds of things are coming, right? So they want money and this is how they're getting it. But this Artharthi is not getting it that way. He is actually going towards the Lord and he's saying, oh Lord, I need money, I need a promotion, I need a job, whatever, big house, car, whatever he wants, but at least he's praying to God. He's not going the other way. This Artharthi. Now, as spiritual seekers, this Artha, wealth, we should ask for inner wealth. Spiritual wealth is, see, control of the mind is wealth. Control of the senses is wealth. So this Lakshmi, now Navratri is going on, I think, right? This Lakshmi Puja, people think of Lakshmi only as external wealth, money, gold, silver, that kind of wealth. But actually it is, you should be praying for internal wealth. That is more important. The internal wealth is more important than the external wealth because, like we saw in the earlier class, that is impermanent and this is permanent. That is the discrimination that we should have. Do I want the strength? Because even when you have wealth, to handle that wealth properly, you need a good mind, a strong intellect. So you may get the wealth, but if you can't handle it properly, then what is the point? There is no point, right? So we need that. So Artharthi here, he's looking for material wealth, okay? But he's going towards God, which is great. And then the last one is the Jnani. So the Jnani is the seeker, no, Artharthi. Jnani is the wise, and here Jnani means the realized master. Actually, he has realized, he has come to know his oneness with the Lord. And so he will continue to pray. He has come to know that the self in him is the self in all. And now he said, oh, okay, now he knows the greatness of the Lord and he will continue to pray. These are the 4 kinds. Now, when we take both these verses together, see, there are 4 types of dushkrutina, bad people, and 4 types of sukrutina, good people. Okay. So that mudaha, the first word, goes with artha. The foolish person has this wrong understanding and goes on arguing about it as if it was correct. Okay. The one who is in distress, he is also, he may have wrong understanding, but wrong in the sense, he may also think, oh, now I'm going to die. That's what Draupadi thought. Draupadi thought, now I'm going to be insulted, like derobed. I mean, totally insult. Gajendra thought he was going to die. But even though that was an incorrect understanding, they turned towards God. That's why you turn Godward as opposed to dogward. That is what the difference is between these 2 verses. In 15, people are going dogward, downward, D-O-G and G-O-D. So go Godward. So this Mudaha word, is the opposite is Artha. Naradhama, the one who is the lowest in among the humans, he doesn't want to know anything about God. Why? Because he thinks eat, drink, and be merry, and that's how I am. And there is nothing after this life. That's what he thinks. This is the only life. You only live once. So what is there? Why should I even go after God? So that Naradhama goes with Jidnyasu. Mayaya aparatananaha means he is deluded by the gunas. So he is also going after material wealth, but he is going dogward. He's going cheating. He's thinking, who should I cheat? How should I, avoid income tax? What can, like he's thinking of all those kinds of things. And whereas this Artharthi, he also wants material wealth. He probably is a bit deluded, but at least he's not deluded in the fact that God is the one that is going to give me all this. So I may as well surrender to God. And then Asuri Prakriti, total identification with body. I told you. Jnani, complete disidentification with body, mind and intellect. So the wise person is the one who is realized, who is a realized master. So there is complete disidentification. And now he, of course, whatever he does, he goes beyond papa and punya anyways, because nothing is leaving an impression. It's like, birds when they fly in the air, they don't leave an impression, or the fish, swims in the water, there is no impression left. So even though action is done, impression is not left. And that is what this Jnani is. He does a lot of action also. He may be very dynamic. We have seen examples of Gurudev, Swami Vivekananda, etc. But there are no footprints. There are no impressions that are created in their mind. So they can choose not to do work, but if they choose to do work, they do not get tainted. That is what Bhagavan Shri Krishna also said. I have no duty in the three worlds, and I have done work, but nothing is going to taint me. Okay, so this is how these 8 types of people are there: those who don't worship him and those who do worship him. Okay, any questions?
Are people born evil, Jaya, or through circumstances they become bad? You
Both.
said the past lives cause.
Correct.
But whenever we do something, there's a prompt saying, no, that's not right. Would
Correct.
they be getting a prompt like that and then they just ignore it?
Yeah,
And
they
that's their
probably,
past life.
yeah, they probably are getting the prompt, but they're either ignoring it, or depending on, how strong that vasana is, the push is so strong. See, vasana, I'll tell you, vasana is a push from within, which is extremely strong. It is very, very strong, extremely hard to control. And it's from inside, right? It's not that somebody is pulling us from outside. Something pushes us from inside. You can uh, feel the push. You can feel the push. And the one who has a very strong mind can overcome that push. Only can, this physical strength is not required. If there is a push or a pull from outside, it's physical strength. Somebody is pulling you, you need physical strength to move back. Or somebody is pushing you, you need, but this is inside. There's nothing outside. It is your push. Like in the morning, I told you, I can be sitting here and then now my mind is just running helter-skelter into the world. That is the vasanas that is creating those kinds of thoughts, right? So that to overcome that push, a sattvic mind is required, a very sattvic mind. That's why again we come back to developing sattva in the mind. A sattvic mind is a pure mind. A pure mind is a strong mind. And when that push is there from within, the mind must tell you, no, this most common example that I've given you is when your alarm goes off, oh, geez, do I have to get up? Can't I sleep for do I really have to go for a walk now? Do I really should be going to the gym? That is what your vasana is now pushing you into sleeping. Now, when you have no, alarm is gone off. Let's get up. I've got a class. I've got to go to work. I've got to. When you go against the push of your vasana, that is what self-effort is. That is what. And so we are born with a lot of baggage. The very fact that we are born is telling us that there is baggage. Now that we have come into this knowledge, we must be able to recognize the push of the vasanas. And that recognition will come as the mind gets more and more purified, that recognition will come. And that recognition is what will keep you on the right track. Yeah. Yes, Veda.
Yeah, just to add to that, I'm like reading this book on mindfulness, and there's this one person who was in jail. Like he did something, he was in jail, and then he got hold of a book on mindfulness, and he had nothing else to do. He was just reading that book over and over and over again. And now he is in some place like leading one of the ashrams and on mindfulness and everything. So it's a complete shift to what he was doing.
Correct. He changed his vasanas. talking of mindfulness, yeah, just one sec. Sudha, does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you. Yeah.
I saw a video about eating habits by Sadhguru, and he says you must do conscious eating. You know how many times you just eat because I'm sitting in front of the TV, I'm bored and I eat? I used to do that a lot before, huh? Now I don't. Previously I used to. I sit and then what should I eat now? There is chips, there's this, there's that. So he says eat consciously. Yes, Rachana.
Thank you, Jayaji. I'm just wondering, can the baggages of two souls be connected? And the reason I'm not at all. No, the reason I'm asking this is like many times you see in your own life people who are not so good, people who are very good. So in this case, like I remember a person not good at all. He passed away in his 80s. All right. But as I see his daughter's life today, a very, let's say, an awful marriage for the daughter. So sometimes I think, could it be like, I know we all have to carry our own baggage, we do. But is there some connectivity? Like, will my child suffer if I'm not good? I pass away.
Okay, I'll tell you how it works. Then you'll understand what the way it works is. See, whatever karmas I have done in the past lives, what they are determining is the experience that I will get. Okay, so think about it. So I've done something good, then I will get experience of happiness. From where it will come, that is not determined.
Okay.
The experience is determined. Okay. Now, what happens is this girl, she obviously, if she's miserable, she has done something bad. Okay. So that misery, the experience of misery has come. Now, because of that, she got born into that womb where the father was not such a good person. Because that experience she has to go through. Experience. See, I told you before also, the jiva is the one that is choosing the womb.
Yes.
Parents are not choosing. Which parent would want a child who is autistic? Which parent will want a child who has got Down syndrome? Do you think the mother says? No mother is going to say that. But yet children are born like that.
I had an autistic brother, Jayaji. He passed away 6-7 years back.
Oh, okay.
So,
now,
like,
you think your mother asked for that child?
Never.
Right? Obviously not. Obviously not. So many children, my daughter's friend had come, her child is autistic, right? He's on the spectrum. Now they say it's a spectrum, etc. Right? So what is happening is that experience I have to get, and that's why I get born. I think I've told you the story of Arthur Ashe, right?
Yes.
His father was a gardener, for God's sakes. Now, where did he reach? That jiva doesn't say, oh, that's a poor man, why should... No, my vasana is to become a great tennis player. This guy is tending the gardens at Wimbledon or wherever, day in and day out. That means I will be in tennis world right from my birth. He probably was playing as a child on those gardens, right? There's a beautiful WhatsApp message that I received recently. I'll just share that with you. So Arthur Ashe, as you know, he was as far as I know, and my husband told me, and he knew a lot about all these things. He was a very straightforward guy, and he got AIDS because of blood transfusion during his heart surgery. So it wasn't like he was doing something wrong. That time they used to not, now they check blood very thoroughly, but that time they were. Anyway, so this one person wrote to him, his fan, that, why I feel, why did God do this to you? That is really bad. Now you're doing heart surgery, you're taking blood, and now you've got AIDS because of that blood. So he wrote such a beautiful, beautiful message. He said, 500,000 children play tennis in the United States. 5,000 of those, they make it into some sort of professional whatever. 500 of those make it into circuit. I don't know, is it called circuit tennis, where you're even in the, in the higher leagues or whatever. 500. And only one of them gets to hold that trophy. When I was holding that trophy, I never asked why me. I never asked. How can I ask now why me? This is what we do. If I win a lottery, do you think I'm going to say, yo, why you, Bhagwan, you gave me this lottery, this money? Will I say, will I say? No. The minute little thing comes, sorrow comes, why me? Why not my neighbor? You can't, either you say why me both times, or you don't say why me anytime. And best is not to say why me. That's what I told you. If you get something good, if you win a lot, it's your own karmas. What you do with that money is that is your discrimination. But if you so many thousands of people are buying lottery tickets, everybody's not winning.
Got it. Thank you, Jayaji.
It's simple, but it's I don't know, it's simple. It's just, that's why I've always told you, it's like itself, just think of yourself, be in surrender to the Lord. Never think that I'm telling you, the most minor thought I get, thank you, Lord, you gave. Yesterday I was cleaning my filter and it was wet, and that air filter, I'm telling you, so I put some solution, and then I thought, oh, I should dry this with a dryer, with my hair dryer. So I was actually, and then all that dirt was coming out. I'm like, oh, thank you, Lord, you gave me this thought, because I never did that thing before. Any thought, it all is coming from Him. There is nothing but Him. You have to realize that. Yeah, that it's for me, it really works. I'm telling you, I mean, I just do my daily reading as daily reading, but I've told you many times, right? When then something in that I read, it comes. Now, it's not like I was looking for that. Like that story of Draupadi, way back, I've read that once. My mom passed 10 years ago. That time I brought the book, I read it all, then I filed it away. And then I go through my books periodically. I say, oh, what should I read? So I saw this. So I thought, okay, I'll read this again. It's like, it reminds me of my mom. So then I read the story of Draupadi, and then I'm reading this Artha and thought, oh, okay, see, coincidence. Not a coincidence. Nothing happens by coincidence. I just thought it's just meant to be. My guru is now reminding me of this story that I can share with all of you. Don't delay calling him. Don't delay.
Jayaji,
Yes.
sometimes when you were talking about this thing, like I sometimes feel that when you are given, like you have children who have autistics or whatever, sometimes I feel God has chosen you because you are capable of taking care of that child. So it's like, sometimes you have to accept the fact, and especially when parents go through this distress, when they say, oh, how to do this, how to deal with this. So sometimes I know, because my uncle also has one, and I keep telling, I mean, my aunt keeps saying that, so I really believe that and that you are the parents who have been chosen to take care of this child.
True.
So I think that helps. That just helps in dealing with the whole situation.
Yeah, a lot of people, and always never forget that everybody's glass is half full. And I was just talking to a friend of mine. I said, we all are in the middle. You must remember that. We think, I'm the worst, like this is my worst. Then you look and people have got even more problems than you do. I cried that I had no shoes until I saw someone who had no feet. And there will always be somebody without feet. If you don't have shoes, there'll be somebody without feet. Okay, so yeah. Okay, all right. Okay, thank you guys. I'll see you next Sunday. Friday, there is no class. Remember that. Om swasti prajabhya paripalayantam nyayena margena mahim mahishaha gobrahmanebhyo shubhamastu nityam loka samasta sukhino bhavantu kale varshatu parjanyah prithvi sasya shalini desho yam kshobarahita brahmana santu nirbhayaha. Om sarvesham swasti bhavatu sarvesham shantir bhavatu sarvesham purnam bhavatu sarvesham mangalam bhavatu sarve bhavantu sukhinah sarve santu niramayaha sarve bhadrani pashyantu ma kaschid dukha bhag bhavet भवेत् ॐ असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ. Okay, Hari Om everybody. Have a good week.